Hey YouTube, it's Gaming Guy here, and we did it. We hit Legend the second month in a row. I was trying to stream it live. It's not my day to stream, so I just felt like playing. I found a new list, better than my last list. It's more meta appropriate, and I looked at it. I liked it. It had good stats. I wondered how, and it makes sense. So more minions, less spells, less like combos, and just overall strong plays each turn. Zephyrs is huge. Dino Tamer Bran is nice as well. So you get that value, you get that board, you get to hit him in the face, and you get to win. So uh, there is a little bit more to it than that. So if you want the ask me questions on what you should craft and why you're getting stuck, and stop by my stream at twitch.tv gaming guy 091. I go live at 3 a.m. Eastern. I stream for about 5 to 6 hours. If you hit the about, it'll be in your my schedule. It'll be in your time zone. So yeah, it's probably self-reflection and maybe not thinking enough ahead or too much ahead, playing around too much or too little. My advice is pause the video, try to see what play you would do, see if I do the same play, see if I win that game or not. Maybe your play was better. I don't know how many of you watching this are Legend players, but sometimes there's more than one way to win a game, but not as much in standard. So if you're consistently not making the right plays, and then you could see why I made that play, that will help you out a lot. Also, I'm gonna have some commentary through this video, so you can see like what I'm thinking and why I do what I do. So without further ado, let's get to the video. Thanks. All right, so this first game we are against the Shaman. So a lot of the new Shamans, things that I'm thinking about is it Evolved Shaman or is it the Totem Shaman? So that card lets me know right away that it's Evolved Shaman. So against Evolved Shaman, you want to make sure they don't have any board at all. You want to have the bigger board, so when they play their Revolve card, it's kind of a dead card, and you get the value instead of them get the value. So that's kind of how I figured out how I was playing the matchup wrong before and how to play the matchup correctly when I streamed it. So again, because it's Evolved Shaman, I want to make the widest board as quickly as I can, and that's why I choose to go with the coin play, even though it leaves my turn 3 a little bit awkward. I think it's so valuable to get that jump that it's worth it even if I float 1 mana next turn. He ends up, the Feral Spirit I wouldn't expect, he discovered that card. Here I think I like playing Plague Tactics a little bit more because he's probably most likely going to have to interact with our board. Developing the 5/4 is very slow. It's terrible against Revolve, so I kind of don't like that play. If I could do it again, I don't think I would do that play over. But it ends up being okay. For now, it's not like a terrible turn. And now that Pack Tactics that would be really, really beneficial is still not in our hand. And also, usually on the sides, I use Decktracker, and that'll be in the future game. So this was just like Hearthstone had crashed, and I started re-recording. So yeah, it'll be there in the future ones on the sides, and I really recommend using that plugin so you know what's in your deck and what cards they've played. It really helps you keep track. And it's not against the rules. It's nothing you couldn't do with pen and paper, so Blizzard's all for it. Snake Trap is really good in this matchup. It really plays around their potentially game-winning card, which is Revolve. That's what the deck is. He just played it, is built around and evolving their stuff. So we're in a pretty tough spot right now. So we need to come up with an answer. That was kind of like fortunate or not fortunate, depending how you look at it. I had no idea where it was going to hit. That 8/8 is the biggest problem on the board, and I come up with a play to hopefully deal with it. I was thinking that I could get a +1 off of the the demon buffer dude, and then Leok, so that was like double high roll. And I was able to, that was kind of probably my only out, because I had no other way to deal with that 8-8, and that 8-8 was going to wreck me, so I played to my outs and we hit, so we're not completely out of the game yet. So that's a case where you have to know what your out is and play to it. So if you don't hit it, maybe then I'm going face and we're racing, but he has more damage on board, so in a really, really probably losing spot. And pack tactics would have been very helpful at like most all points of this game. Because I played the other card, I was reliant on a top deck. Like, I'm not perfect, you know, I'm not the best player, but I'm a decently good player. Okay. Just buffing my card, making like a nice little value play. Shaman's board, my board is big, Shaman's board is small, so that's good news for us. Yeah, he's trying to go wide to answer. It's like really all I can do. He already used his big win condition card, which is Revolve. That's what the whole deck is built around. So this is like kind of his last gasp here. And since I top decked Unleash, I figured that trading was good. If I didn't top deck that, I probably would smork. But if I trade and clear his board, he's out of ways to do pretty like anything, so it's like guarantees the win. So I decide to go for the trade because of this card, and it sets up a better Dragon Bane the following turn as well. I even just play it outright because this deck doesn't like run Hex or anything like that. Like, it doesn't have an answer other to deal 5 without a board. So that allows me to play whatever in hero power with it on the board, and sets up lethal as well. And he ends up conceding. So there we go. That's one of the earlier wins. So this is there was a game that occurred in between this against the Paladin, which we just he had a really bad hand, we had a pretty good hand, so it wasn't, you know, that interesting, so I just kind of skipped it, but we won the last one. We're rank 1 now. I decide to keep Snake Trap and Unleash the Hounds because I'm thinking it's most likely aggro Demon Hunter, because that was the most common that I'd played against, and that was kind of like, it didn't end up being the aggro, it ended up being the like mid-rangey removal list. So you never really know which Demon Hunter you're gonna get. Once I see Soul Shard or Sheared, whatever that card was just called, I know that it's not the aggro list that I mulliganed for. So I'm in a little bit of trouble because I mismulliganed. And I'm not developing anything. But this ends up being a pretty interesting game, and it's really close. So yeah, unfortunately, because I was thinking that it was going to be the other deck that has to hit my minions, this was a really good hand against that deck, and we're not doing much, but he's not doing much. So just kind of this wait and see type of thing. And this deck's really targeted against freezing traps, so the fact that we only run 1 freezing trap is good. Finally I get a minion and I can buff it. All of our stuff interacts with minions. That's a good card that rearranges the value of our deck, so that was a really good top deck that we just drew. We were kind of dead in the water before that happened. Demon Hunter, this is like one of our matchups where we are slightly unfavored to win. So it's because they have good board clears and they are aggressive. They can hit you and heal themselves, all these fun things. So it's a tough, it's an anti-aggro deck, and it's tough for us to beat. But we can beat it. So we get Leok, and then I want to rearrange my deck. so I can start. I have a good turn 6 already with the weapon and hero power. So brands in hand. So basically that forces out my Dragonbane, I think is the name of the card that shoots 5. Okay, I'm trying to remember all the card names. So that's a really strong turn 6 into a Dino Tamer brand. So he ends up clearing our board with his Mystic that I was pretty sure he had because he hadn't done anything, which is a good sign that he's just kind of chilling and waiting to use that. I decided to use the weapon so I can get rid of this minion and not have to rely on a 50-50, plus it gives me a secret, which is good. I want to Dino Tamer, obviously I want a Dino Tamer brand next turn. The Dragonbane, excuse me, is what I want an empty board before I use that card. That's the so I guarantee the 5 face damage. This is what makes the matchup so hard and what makes Demon Hunter so annoying is they can deal damage to you while healing themselves with that lifesteal weapon. So yeah, obvious turn 7 here. I'm just, basically we're at a point where we gotta race them and hope for the best. Now, either all of those 3 secrets are a tough choice. I think he still was going to have to interact with my minions, so I go with the Snake Trap. I think it might have been better to go with, in hindsight, I wasn't expecting Double Blade Dance to be in his hand. I thought he might have 1. I thought he'd have to interact, maybe have the immune with my the card that makes him immune with King Crush. So unfortunately that didn't happen. Explosive Trap would have been slightly better in that spot. So he's already used 1 Mystic. I build another board. He has to have that for a second Mystic, which I don't think is very likely. So I think I'm in good shape to win this game. Top decking Skull Gul'dan's never a good sign though. It's a pretty OP card, and then he does draw it from the skull, so that's pretty unlucky for us. So yeah, we're pretty boned at this point because he can kill us next turn with his cards. So we do have 1 lethal with hopefully you see it. Pause it if you don't. That we have to go for. And I wait to see where the attack's gonna go. If it goes face, we win the game. We have exactly 12 if it hits face. I'm just counting right there. 5 from hero power. So yeah, we'd get the 2 damage to 7, then the 5 bonus, and then we have 2 from the unleash. But unfortunately hits the worst one. But we ended up finishing it. So he gets 4 damage to our face from that, and then we can't kill the 3/2. So that really sucks. He only needs like basically 1 damage and he top decks his twin slice, so we're dead. So yeah, we didn't win that one, but he had all of his removal outs that he needed and he drew, and he got really lucky. So we played pretty well because he had to draw all those cards, otherwise we would have won. Okay, so this is one of our good matchups, Rogue. So this is a class we're happy to see. They're control-y, they don't heal, they don't have good board clears, everything we want to see. It's pretty difficult to lose to Rogue, but it is possible. It depends on the Rogue list as well. But most of them are like Cthulhu or Galakrond, and you're very favored against Rogue. It's like 60 to 70% or something win rate, and it's my favorite class to see, or one of them. Him having a 1-drop is not great, obviously. We're ranked 2. I cut out, we lost about, I think we played another couple Demon Hunters. I think we lost like 2 or 3 between that, so I don't want this video to be 2 hours plus, so I'm just showing you the interesting matchups and explaining my thought process. These are just curve plays. He kills our taunts. We decide to open up with our double 1-drop, and then we discovered a secret. Now we have an awkward turn 3, so I'm deciding secret or the Felmaw. The freeze would be the worst thing we could do. That's a 2-drop. We want to freeze something. He's got better, more juicy freeze targets for us. So I think Pack Tactics maintains like the most annoyance and best board state, so I go with that. We can either play our 4-drop or double 2 next turn, depending on what he does. So, and then we know if after we play the 4-drop, our first card is going to be Brand because it draws largest to smallest by a mana cost. But it's a dice roll if you have like 2 4-drops left in your deck, etc. Another reason it's good to use the Decktracker, Hearthstone Decktracker, which I'll link in the video. People have asked me about it, so I can link to where you guys can download that. So I go with the 4-drop because he removed my 3. It doesn't die to his weapon, his combo weapon, his 4/1. So he needs to find 1 damage. And I need to keep applying pressure. He's using his face to kill most of my stuff, which is great. Plays along with our hero power. We're in a good spot. So here he's like put a lot of resources into having something stick on board to try to be maybe contest my 4/5. Backstab would potentially kill my 4/5, so I decide that this is a good freeze even though it's only a 1-drop, but I don't want his little buffer dude to get frozen, so I trade. And then I go face with the 4/5. So I think he's used the Eviscerate. I kind of missed the fast play in the early game. Maybe he's still backstab Eviscerate, second one or first one if he hasn't used one yet, would be an answer to deal with the 4/5. But if that gets repetitive damage in, he's just dying a slow death. Pretty relaxed the whole time this game. This guy actually runs Sap. I haven't seen that card in a long time. It's an interesting tech card. He does have the Eviscerate, and he eviscerates face. I guess he's going to try to race us, but he doesn't have a board. I don't think I really like that Eviscerate. He needs to like try to get Miscreant Taunt and like survive off a taunt or something. And we're going to have a 5/4. He has no minions to follow up with that, so I mean it's desperation. I don't think holding the Eviscerate he wins either, so he's just in a really bad spot. And that's usually how this matchup goes. So if you're playing a lot of rogues, it's a good time to play Hunter. Either Hunter, but actually the slower Hunters aren't nearly as favored as this list. So Face Hunter specifically is good against Rogue, but the Death Rattle, Big Hunter, or Mid-Range Hunter, I've actually lost. So I was actually 1-off lethal, and this dude has a tech deck, so that's why I didn't play the Dino Tamer and just spam face. So he potentially, he's ran Sap, so it's some weird rogue. I thought he might run Cold Blood, which he just played. And if we didn't kill that minion, like go for the kill on the minion with our 3/5, he would have been 3 short. So that Eviscerate play kind of got, I questioned it and it was a little bit weird, and that's why I made that play. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta think about what they're doing, like, oh, that's strange, it's unique tech, could he actually kill me? And we get our rank 1 back, so we only lost a couple. On to the next one. So yeah, that was the tail end of a whatchamacallit, we just beat a Paladin. And there will be a Paladin showcase, one that's a little bit more challenging. He had a good opener, so it was a little bit tricky to win, but he ended up having to tank 8 to kill King Crush after I killed a taunt, so that kind of sealed his fate. So I want my more challenging, interesting Paladin wins. But we're on our final boss. It's Shaman. All Shaman decks, the 3, the Control, the Evolve, and Totem, they're all good matchups for us. I'm ecstatic. I'm thinking like, hey, this is it. We have a good hand. We're going first, which is awesome. We have a 1 and a buffer 2. I mean, if he kills the 1/3, we're in a little bit of trouble, but I'm in high spirits right now. I think I'm finally, like, I've been getting kept gate kept from the final star, like 4 or 5 times, kept win 1, lose 1. Kind of cut the 40, like that happened like 3 or 4 games. I cut those. So we know he's totem shaman. So totems are all high priority. Definitely want to bump it. Thankfully, the RNG that he just got doesn't do anything. And yeah, we're looking good. Just need to kill this totem and its other totems. And totem, if we have board against totem shaman, they're pretty boned. So all I have to do is equip my weapon, or possibly unleash the hounds next turn and seal them out of the game. So I'm just like, that's what I'm thinking about. Hoping that he doesn't have the reflection and the other answers that he could have. And clearly he doesn't have it. He could still do the 0 mana too. So he ends his turn, and then RNGesus says, yeah, I'm gonna take it from here. So it gives him the best possible spell that it can possibly cast. Cast the card that he needs for him for free. Ridiculously lucky. I'm like, what? I still have a good hand, so I'm not out of it. I kill one of the totems. There's with the bow, it develops more damage, and it gives me the best chance of killing the other totem. And I want to kill the 2/2 to protect my dude in case I need a hero power. I need to get these totems killed, so that's my best anti-totem play right there. So that's why I made it. Kind of in disbelief that I'm in this situation. The first turn it did nothing. The second turn it just RNG'd, like put me in a really tough spot. And that's not good. More totem buffers. I no longer have a board. That's a potentially scary spell. I like to go with the full board clear over the do nothing play, and it's like imperative this board gets cleared. Oh, at least the totems. Maybe not the 3/2, but I feel my best chance is to clear his board to try to just stall till turn 7, and hopefully a King Crush can carry us. I'm thinking like that's my win condition right now. And we saw the totem game of Carrion Studies free Death Rattle minion last turn. Honestly not too concerned about it, but then it turns out that that's the best possible thing that Totem Shaman could get, is the Totem Goliath. So really just like ridiculously back-to-back high rolls off of the Trick Totem. So like 1 in 1,000 type high rolls to get both of those things to happen. Like just getting screwed. And we're at max stars. This is like exactly when you don't want bad things to happen. We don't even want to kill that card because it gives him all the other base totems, and he's Totem Shaman, so he could easily buff the crap out of all of them. And then he has the duplicate weapon to duplicate the card that he just got off of RNG. Like about as lucky as you can be. I try a cheeky little play here where I make it have 6 life because 5 life is bad against his board. I hero power, and I'm in like I don't really see a way I can win at this point because he can kill off the 1 and then potentially buff his totems. I didn't want to shoot and kill one of the 5/5s with my hero with the legendary ability. That really seals the deal for me. So the only thing I really had left was to smork face and hopefully us to get there with that, and he just took away our only win condition, so I got out of the game. So it's important to remember to not get too super tilted. I actually ended up losing 2 in a row after that, and one was to a favored mage matchup, which I didn't play very many mages, but that's pretty self-explanatory. Develop stuff. Hopefully they don't have Flame Ward and go face and get there before they find their answers. That's basically how you play mage. It's not that interesting to talk about. We're finally talking about a paladin. I lost. I went all the way down to rank 2. I lost from final boss. That means I lost 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. And it was a little bit tilting, and I kept my level headed. That was my second attempt at final boss. This is Paladin, so it's kind of interesting. And we did our mulligan. We have an okay hand. Just try to keep. Don't rage. It doesn't help. Is the point of the story. Sometimes you just get unlucky and you lose your favorite matchups. That's when I get tilted, when I'm losing my favorite matchups, because it's hard to get my good matchups. I go with my 1-drop that does something. I get my secret to get some snakes on the board. It's really important to challenge the board early against Paladin. You don't want to fall multiple minions behind and let them buff their little dudes, and then you're screwed. So it's paramount to stay ahead of the Paladin. That's how you win this matchup. So that's why I chose the snakes and went with the snakes, and then I end up doing a full clear. Now, I keep my hero power in case I draw a card that triggers with it, like my Phase Stalker, my Dragonbane, or my little dwarf dude, the 1/3, can't remember his name, the sharpshooter. So that's why I didn't hero power. Yeah, luckily he has a weak turn, so that's good for us. Pretty much all non-term. I decide to go with the Phase Stalker or the Wolfentanger. Like, those are the only 2 beasts that in this deck that it can draw, so I liked the idea of developing a 4/5 and getting a secret for free. There's the first card we're going to draw is Bran, and then we're going to draw a 4-drop, so I don't really need a 4-drop for turn 5. Like, I already have a 4/5, so like my curve works better if I do this turn, and then next turn I play my the 4 legendary. I can't remember the name of it. It's a little too hard for me to Lord Keeper Polkit or something like that. So yeah, it sucks that he buffs this taunt. That's a decent hit. That's probably that or hit the taunt is what I wanted, because we want to again stay up on the board. I decided to not play the 4-drop because of this taunt. Freezing drop. Trap, excuse me, is a good draw. So he can't attack with that. If we play that, he loses his taunt, and we're happy. So I decided to play that over the 4-drop that I was gonna play, and then I just hold. I play the secrets. So yeah, open the cages, the animal companion for 2 mana in this spot is really good. We get Huffer, so now we have cards that equal up to 7, and our draw for next turn on 7 is going to be Dino Tamer Bran, which is exactly what we want, thanks to the other legendary that we just played, and we are looking good. This guy hasn't been able to respond to our board very well. We're ahead on minions. This is where you want the Paladin reacting to you, not reacting to them. Now, Libram of Hope for 6 mana is a pain in the butt to get through. But we have an 8/8 of our own that can charge into it and kill it. So that is good news for us. And we go ahead and kill it and push like 9 damage. It's too bad he had the Libram on 6, otherwise he's like dead for sure. So sometimes they have it. We're still ahead, so we're still okay at this point. Just hope he doesn't have too much more of his big answers. And that's not a good card for us either. The fact that he runs the Dragon Heal, that's something we can't have him freeze and expect to win. So I go ahead and trade. Unfortunately, I have to trade, and then I play my my curve out, my 4/2 hero power. and get some more face damage in from the Dragon Bane, which is nice. Usually at this point of the game, if you haven't killed the Paladin, it's pretty hard for Hunter to win, but we're still leading on board, so it's not hopeless. It just depends on what he has. Libram of Justice is pretty rough for us. It's not looking good now that he top decked that and he has his Ping Flinger clear. But it's still not over. He is at 19, and we do have a 5-1 and 4-1 still. And he's going to take 2 more to kill the... We still have the 4-1, so he is still within, like, killable range. Oh, he doesn't kill the 2-1. And then that's a pretty good draw, so I'm pretty happy with that top deck, so that was nice. And Pressure Plate is the card that it's either that or Open the Cages, but Pressure Plate counters Libram. I decide to go with the Pressure Plate, the Open the Cages to get more oomph. Pressure Plate could hit the 5-5, which wouldn't be good. We want it directly. This deck doesn't even run Pressure Plate. I forgot to mention that, so it makes the Paladin matchup like harder to play, but it's about the same odds if you play it right. The old list had some had 2 Pressure Plates of the face variety to counter the Libram of whatever for the 8/8. I think it's called Hope. He top decks his Broomstick to get around our Freeze Trap, which really sucks, but he is at 9, so we're in decent shape here unless he has a Consecrate or something. So he hasn't had it yet, so we looked dead in the water like 2 turns ago. But that's why you don't give up, you keep making your plays, make them keep having good turns. So he kills his own minion so he can get his Ping Flinger back because he knows he needs to clear the board, for sure. Which they're both 0 mana, so he has 2 more pings. Which means he can get us down to 1 minion, and that means I don't get the value Animal Companion from Open the Cages. I thought it was wide enough he wouldn't be able to come with that answer. So here I draw another weapon, so I want to get my secret first. And this board that's an interesting take. I can get him to 2, and then Explosive Trap is lethal. Snake Trap probably doesn't do that much. Freezing is not the best either. We're at 30 life, so he's probably going to be able to either play Taunt and ignore our board, clear our board. I want to make sure this is his last turn, that he has to draw something. If he draws that second Libram of Hope at this point, I don't have an answer for it, so I would lose. So that's what he's obviously going for right now, hoping he doesn't draw it. So I think this is the correct play because we need to limit the amount of chances he has to get it. And he draws for it twice because he probably runs 2. Or some type of lifesteal buff. And yeah, he didn't draw it, so... Or he could still have the lifesteal buff, but we're looking very good, and yeah, we got the win. So that's a little bit more advanced gameplay on how you can even beat Paladin beyond turn 10 if you play well and draw a little bit well. So we just won in the against a Evolved Shaman where he ended up revolving a Cho and giving us revolve, so we were able to counter it, and that made him lose the game. So that was kind of a cute or whatever, but it was an RNG win basically, so nothing too interesting to talk about. But this is another Paladin matchup. We're 2 stars away from Legend right now, and there's a lot of Paladins on the ladder, so this is a matchup that you guys should be well versed on how to beat if you're wanting to play this deck, because you are slightly favored with good gameplay. Obviously you're looking for 1s and 2s to take control of the board early, Now, Pressure Plate is a card we don't have in the deck naturally, but we do have this Discover It, so we can discover it. So I'm really deciding, do I think I want to go for the super late game, or do I want to go for the value play with the early Animal Companion for tempo? And since he didn't do anything turn 1, I'm thinking it's more of a control paladin, the slower pally. So I think it's more important for me to tempo out than to wait 15 turns for him to play his Libram of Hope. So since he played the little respawning mech, Pack Tactics is better than the Animal Companion Open the Cages card. Obviously we don't want to attack into that with Pack Tactics, and when that card comes back anyways, it trades for our whole board. Luckily we get a 3/3. And now he buffs it, so he's trying to really take hold of the board. And I make a kind of an interesting play here. I decide to use the Divine Shield to kill the 2/1. And then play my Open the Cages, because he can only kill one thing on board. And then we'll get a free companion with this play. I'm debating whether I want to just do the traditional keep my Divine Shield sticky minion, but I decide to not. We just played Pack Tactics, and he knew we discovered it. He knows our deck runs it, so I think it's a good play. It's like hard to tack into this weird board. It does get blown out by Consecrate, but I don't think I can beat him with a 3/5 on the board and Consecrate, so I'm just really hoping he doesn't have it, so I can swing the board back. Because this is a point where like you have to recognize that you're really far behind and you need to make like a desperate play and play into one of the outs. We're not in a position where we're far ahead and we can afford to play around things, unfortunately. He does kill the 3/2, so we know he doesn't have Consecrate because that's a beautiful Consecrate with a 3/5 on the board. And he just draws, so we get our Animal Companion and get rewarded for our slightly risky play. Plus, Misha's probably the best one that we could get on this board too. The weapon is amazing. We finish off his guy there, and then his next turn is turn 5, which they like playing their 4/6 taunt a lot. So Snipe makes our weapon finish that off, so I end up electing to go with the Snipe, thinking about his next play and what it most likely is. So if he plays that 4/6, which is good against Misha, we immediately just keep on get through it right away and don't lose any tempo. So he does have it, he does play it, and he didn't do anything too drastically on one of those turns too, like he skipped it, so he probably has a heavier hand. That's some more like poker reading that you can do into their hand too. Now I take the Pressure Plate, because we're getting into the point to where he's going to want to play his Libram of Hope, and Pressure Plate kills it. So I go with my secrets, and I clear. I know he doesn't have Consecrate, so I can play into it, and he doesn't have a board exactly where we want Paladin to be. And we can, now we're far enough ahead to where we can smork with the 3-card advantage. So you want to like, I guess he drew Consecrate one turn after it was amazing. So it wasn't that great last turn, and that really sucks because his 1/1 eats the Pressure Plate that we just got, so that's kind of unfortunate. He didn't have it on 4, but he drew it on 5. We didn't give him as good of one as last turn, and he gets rewarded a little bit for being patient. But we still have the tempo, the development advantage to where we get to get our minions on board uncontested first, so it's a lot more devastating if he Consecrates and has a board to protect. That's when you want to be using board clears, not just kind of stalling. Luckily, it's super effective if we're out of gas, though. There's the Libram of Hope, so we're kind of in deep doo-doo right now. But we get the Leok, which is pretty good on this wide board. And that is a really, really good top deck. So luckily our deck has our back, and we draw a card that gives us more cards when we're out of cards. So pretty lucky. And I even screwed that up. I needed to realize that one of my other minions besides Leok was buffing my cards. So that was a little bit of a misplace. They happen. You need to kind of stop and think a little bit while you're playing. But even though you misplayed, there's no reason to just give up. Like, we can still win based on what we draw. I'm looking for Bran. This card is bad.
The light protects me.
Like, it's a good card. It's bad for us, Lady Lairdrin. So he has another Libram of Hope because she repeats all the spells that are cast, which is not good for us. So I need to save my Zephyrs to answer the second Libram of Hope.
This is overdue.
And I still have Freezing Trap up. She's not the ideal card that I want to freeze, but if she's 9 mana with this board, if like she's effectively dead because he needs to clear the board and heal himself because he's at 16 life. And luckily we have the Bran in hand now. We did draw it. And he's just buffing this big taunt. So yeah, perfect time to Zephyr. We need to get through this taunt. All this damage needs to go face, otherwise we're going to lose this game. I was thinking I was going to do Death, but it didn't give me that option. Black Knight's still really good. And then obviously with the Lady Liadrin in his hand, that'll give him another one of those Libram of Hopes, heal himself for 8 and get a 8/8 taunt with Divine Shield. We need to be more cappy for sure. I think I just throw all the damage face. No, I still do one trade. Oh, I need to trade for to have some space for Bran. That's why I traded for Dino Tamer Bran. He takes 2 slots. Now this guy's trying to get a free second Libram of Hope auto-casted.
I feel bad for you.
But he doesn't get it, so we end up winning. Very close game, a slight misplay, but we played well other than that slight misplay, so. You don't have to be perfect.
Hunt begin.
So, unfortunately, we just lost to a Paladin. We had the game in hand. He played the 10 mana spell legendary that gives you a bunch of boards. I mean, a bunch of minions based on like spells that you've casted. And he high rolled a Mega Wind Fury Walking Fountain and healed himself to 30, and we lost the game to that. He had that plus a Lady Liadrin, and he had 3 Librams of Hope, full health, couldn't do anything about it. Interesting deck because he ran the dragon that made him have 10 crystals and he played that on 4. But this is another Shaman, and it looks like it's most likely Totem Shaman. So we just played a 1-drop, and we are all about killing those totems, so maybe we can... it's good that... I'm glad it's the other type of Shaman, so we can get a good explanations on the turns and stuff. We just played a 1 and a 2. Against Totem Shaman, they don't have as much like removal spells, so I think I might be able to get away with playing the 2-drop on Curve. I don't want to play the open cages. It doesn't do anything this turn, and that's really bad to not do anything this turn. I do want a hero power to get the free secret, because I'm looking for like pack tactics, or mainly pack tactics, or Snake Trap would be fine too. But Snake Trap is much better against Evolved Shaman. It's not like immediate, super necessary against. Or maybe this is Evolved Shaman. He's running the Bog. It's just he has different tech cards. Okay. I thought it was the Totem Shaman because he had the free hero power dude. The tour guide, that's what it's called. Here I just like now. And he randomly concedes for some reason. I am not sure while I'm thinking. But I'll take it.
Rexa versus Illidan.
So yeah, I'm guessing that guy just had an awful hand and fell behind on board and didn't think he could win, so that was kind of a gift. And another third final boss of the day, and it's Demon Hunter Sai. It's like the hardest class to beat for us, especially if it's the mid-range board clear one. We're like 46% to win those matchups. It's pretty tricky to navigate and it's tough. Aggro is, I think we're slightly favored against aggro, but it's still rough. Basically, it's a big deal with who draws the better opener against the aggro Demon Hunter. So we have a good hand, kind of. Good opener for turn 1, but you know, it just dies to a twin slice, so that kind of sucks. And he has the initiate, and he top decks the oh, so it's aggro Demon Hunter. That card gives that away, and he has kind of a nutty opener. So I go with the only play I have other than hero power, but I need to develop a board. I did draw a kill command, so if he ignores my minions, I can kill his 3/4, which is why I need a beast to be able to do that though. So he does ignore our minions, and this is, like, a lot of people might not use kill command here, but it is that important to clear this guy's board. This is a board-based deck, and it's very weak without the board. Now I have my secret weapon in hand, so I can kill the 2/2 in my mind. That's why I don't trade. I could get punished. I want some minions on board to contest his stuff. I know, like, his hero power kind of cancels it out, and unfortunately he has mana burn, so that kind of sucks. It would have been better if I traded double traded down. Now I have to just kind of throw out Raider there and pray. Like, that's what makes this deck so good, is developing all their cheap stuff, and then they make you not be able to respond with the same amount of mana that they're using, and there's a lot of draw. It's a pretty solid deck, and we're in a very bad spot right now, so gotta just hopefully we can draw one of our outs, like Unleash the Hounds, or the weapon gives us Explosive Trap or something like that. So we'll see what we draw this turn, and we end up top decking it. That's probably the best single draw we could have gotten. It's better to use Unleash on turn 5. It's for our mana, and it perfectly clears his board. Yeah, there could have been theoretically a better spot for Unleash, but we're not going to be able to use it if we don't use it there. And we have our weapon that we're ready for next turn, and now I don't know what I'm going to do, because that was going to be my turn 6. And weapon sucks against this board. So I'm in another tough spot. I might have to take the damage, and then I don't know how I win. But luckily I top deck Zephyr, so getting pretty lucky with the draws on this match. And it's great that we're getting our luck on the final boss, the 3rd attempt. So executes perfect. It gets rid of that pesky taunt that hits very hard and is in our way. So now we have the board clear for Daimo Tamer Brand next turn if we want to do that. There's also weapon and a double weapon, so it just depends on what's going on with his board. So he has a 4/1. He's hitting us for 5. We're at 9 life, so I can't, like, just play Daimo Tamer Brand. It doesn't, like, he still would have a 2/1. I want to go for the trap. The explosive trap is what I'm going for. That's what I need to hit, because it clears his board. I do hit it, luckily. That's slightly risky play. I decided to try to protect my board so he doesn't double trade down, negate value of, or negate. It makes it annoying. It negates the value of the explosive trap they just trade into your minions. But he has the counter weapon, and that really sucks because now we're dead next turn. We only have 8 mana. He's at 11 life. I think it would have been better for him to hold than to attack this turn,
Well played.
because we do potentially have an out if we draw Adorable Infestation, and we do draw it. So that's a spot where he probably wants to hold, so we can't kill him. He can. Oh wait, he needs to attack. He couldn't hold to set up lethal, so never mind. So we get lucky, we draw our outs 3 turns, 3 runners in a row, And we did it. Sometimes you gotta be a little lucky, boys. Hell yeah. It's such a good feeling when you hit legend. So a lot of hard work, 4+ hours of gameplay, boils down to this, and there's our rank and everything, and it's been good times. We get our pack rewards, and I feel very well because we did it. 4 hours is a long time, but still had to win 60+% win rate to get here, right? Because we are at like no stars rank 3 at the start of the day. So really good gameplay. Thank you guys for watching.